Howdy. Hey, Hugo, would you put the pups in there with you, please? Thank you. This may help us a little bit, be a little bit quieter. Hello, everybody. Just going to give everybody a chance to pop in. Roland Bob in Austin, Texas. It's great to see you guys. Thank you. Coming to you from on the mountain in southern Colorado, where it is a lovely day. It might actually get above freezing. It's great to have you guys popping in. It's great to see your faces and your names popping in over there. Thank you so much. I will report a bit on Alex. She's doing well. There goes the cuckoo clock telling me that it's 11. She's doing well. I just got texts from her prior to this going live, and she's resting, but she's feeling pretty good, and she is going home today. That is the plan anyway. You know how hospitals can change their mind, but they wanted to kick her out yesterday, but she said no, thank you. So she's doing well, and we are grateful, appreciative of everybody's concern, prayers, and right now, as it stands, the surgery has been uneventful, meaning there's nothing, no surprises, nothing that's um, any so far any different. And Captain John has said that it's going to be a 7 to 10 day process to get the actual lab results back that will tell the true story. But from what the doctors can tell at this point, and the surgeon, everything seems to be fine. So we appreciate your love and your care. And I had a great opportunity to meet with Suzanne Marshall. And just so you know, Suzanne has been a cheerleader for me for years and years. And when I first met her, she just celebrated the fact that I was a brand new baby quilter, literally baby quilter. I had barely just gotten started, and she's continued to be a huge influence over all these years. So anyway, so I have an interview with Suzanne. That's what I want to share with you today. It's really truly it's the heart of everything that I need to say, so I don't need to say a lot here on the front end. I hope you'll take the time to watch, and if you can't make it through to the end, please do come back and find this is getting streamed to several places on both YouTube and on Facebook, including thequiltshow.com, Ricky Timms, and Alex Anderson, so you can find this interview. I think it's pertinent, it's timely, and I think that you'll be very inspired. So let me just get right on into it. This is Suzanne Marshall and my little chat with her that I got to have earlier today. Everybody, I am getting a wonderful opportunity today to speak with one of my personal friends, one of my best friends, one of my quilting cheerleaders, and certainly my mentor and inspiration, Suzanne Marshall. And we have a story to tell you today. Suzanne, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you, Ricky. It's great seeing you, even if it's in a picture.
Well, and I will get to see you again this year. I'm looking forward to coming back to St. Louis, even if it's brief.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
so Suzanne, I just think what I would like to do first is, because not everybody may know you, I would like for you to just give everybody a brief background of how you came to quilting and how you learned, because I know you're self-taught. So give us just a little bit of that story.
Okay. We have 4 children. When they were very young, they needed covers on their beds. So I went to the public library and checked out a book about quilting. And I picked an easy quilt and I made it. And oh, well, I still have it. It is a little pathetic, but it was my first quilt. And our daughter used it. And I thought, well, this is sort of fun. I'll try this again. I made a big mistake with my next quilt. I used fabrics that had been shrunk and fabrics that were new and had not been shrunk. And when I washed it, it was a mess because the ones that had not been washed did shrink, and that pulled the quilting stitches. And so Anyway, it's been a process, it's been a journey. I've had a good time with it. I never thought that I would teach around the country. It never occurred to
Yeah.
me. I entered my first quilt show because our youngest son said, Mom, you just don't do anything. And I thought,
Uh-oh.
what do you mean I don't do anything? Yes, I do. I was driving him around places and doing all kinds of things with 4 kids with a husband that traveled quite a bit. And when he said that, I thought, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing right and wrong with quilting. I'll just enter a quilt show. So I entered a quilt show, and what do you know? I won a first prize. I won $500. You know what? Because I won that money, he suddenly thought I was doing something. Now that's kind of pathetic,
Right.
but it is a true story.
But you did fall in love with applique. It kind of became your thing. You've done a lot of piecing, but applique is what you're known for.
Well, yes, and I didn't really start applique till probably about 6 years after I had started patchwork.
Briefly, I want to just discuss that your inspiration is often from antiquity, tapestries, and just a nutshell of that. Tell us about that.
Well, I search libraries for ideas. I search the internet for ideas. And if I see an image that catches my fancy, I may take it to the copy store and redraw it and blow it up and do something with it.
But the quilt we're going to talk about today, which is really a powerful quilt, is not derived from an tapestry or some imagery. This one is going to be from your own mind, and I really want to just let everybody see a picture of the quilt now, and just tell us the name. Tell us what you're thinking about this quilt, just in general.
Okay, the quilt is called the Mastectomy. I did have a bilateral double mastectomy in 1989. After that, I had a very good friend who told me that her mother wouldn't even get a mammogram because she was so concerned about disfigurement.
Hmm.
And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a story to show that disfigurement is not the important part. Living life joyfully is what's important.
And your mastectomy was in 89 and this quilt is in 92 to put me into
Right.
the picture a little bit because I
Yes.
began quilting in 91 and Suzanne Marshall was the goddess of quilting in the St. Louis area. I had to meet
Oh, come
you,
on. That's
but
an
but we
exaggeration.
but we became friends and I remember the day I came over to your house and this was still a quilt top and I got to see it in person. And I want to tell you my memory for just a second. I remember laughing. I don't know if you remember. You put it
I
out on
don't
the
remember you
floor,
laughing,
and I laughed.
but
And
that's
I
good.
remember
I'm
you saying,
glad.
"Oh, I'm so happy that you're laughing." And I'm looking at it because it's whimsical and it's interesting. I was 36 years old. And of course, this sort of a subject matter would not have even really crossed into my world. And I never, on the surface, I didn't know how deep the message was, but that's what I would like to share with everybody today. So let's start with the first panel. This is done kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, but there
Hmm.
are panels. So let's go to the upper left to the full figured lady. Tell us about this one.
Okay, well, she's walking along and everything is just fine. And I made puzzle pieces because I actually, having cancer is a bit of a puzzle.
Right.
There are choices to be made, and that can be a puzzle. So
Okay.
she's
And
just
so
walking along, everything's fine.
everything's fine and she's full figured. We can see the boobie.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
so now we're at the mammogram.
Yes, she goes and gets a mammogram, and actually, he asked me the mammogram I had, "Are you concerned?" I said, "No." So I went to my doctor. He said, "Oh, you're just fine." So it was several months later when I went back and got another mammogram, and sure enough, it was cancer.
Okay. And we have a detail. I'm just showing a detail where the clamp is on or whatever they call it. And you have the little red, alert, something
Hmm.
going on. And you even use the little radiation sign or the radiation symbol down
Hmm.
at the bottom on that. So that was the doctor's visit. All right. So the next panel, her hair is exploding. Her
She
eye,
has received a diagnosis. Yikes.
right? and but her hands are obviously gesturing to, oh my gosh.
That's
All right. And so then now the next one, so there's going to be surgery, right? So we're now
that's
looking at
correct.
the surgery operating room. Tell
Hmm.
everyone, because this is on the table, and describe
Yep.
this one to us.
Well, you notice all those heads above her. I have had so many interpretations about those heads. Some people thought it was all the people, all of her friends who want to help. Somebody else said it's all the people in the past who have had breast cancer. Somebody else said, well, it's doctors and nurses trying to figure out the correct treatment. But let me tell you what I thought. When I had the surgery, they did not give me enough anesthetic. Back in my younger days, I was a redhead. Redheads require 20% more anesthesia. You can actually look that up and read about it. It's true.
Wow.
So, any of you all who might be redheads, you might want to alert your physician, especially if you're old and it's not red anymore. So, when I woke up in the midst of the surgery, I saw the doctors and nurses right over me.
And that's the representation of that kind of vision that you had.
That's right. But many people haven't interpreted that differently.
I, I've always thought the knives here, because they look like steak knives or table knives. I don't know if that's
Well,
even what a scalpel looks like, but
I don't know what they look like too.
it's obvious they're implements for doing the surgery, and
Oh, it's just
yeah,
symbolic.
yeah, very very good. And then we have the letter C going into what looks like a trash can. Talked about that.
Hmm. Well, throw those boobs out. You know, I had one removed prophylactically. It did not have cancer, but I did learn that if you have cancer on one side, there is a higher probability that it may come back on the other side. So I just thought, get rid of both of them. And so they did. And the big C is scary. So there's a little skeleton hanging off of the big C.
Yeah, a little charm skeleton hanging there.
Yeah.
And sorry, if there's the doctors. Let me go to the. All right, so this is post surgery. The sutures are in place. There's
Hmm.
tears,
I'm recovering, supposedly.
right? How long was your recovery, Suzanne? Do you
You
recall?
know, I really don't remember from 1989.
Yeah,
I know that we had a trip to the state fair because I had a quilt there that won a prize and we wanted to go and we did.
yeah. All right, so then now let's get to the visit with the doctor afterwards.
Okay,
No,
he wants to know if I'd like implants, and I said no. And you know, back then there was um, I don't know how to say it,
limited.
more controversy about getting the implants,
Okay.
about whether they could cause problems. And I just thought, no, what I want is the best health I can possibly have. So I said no. And then I had thought, well, I got to put some implants on there. What can I use?
I remember
Well,
this.
we have a hole in our shower curtain because it was plastic. So that's
Uh,
that.
yeah, so you use the shower curtains literally
Yes,
to
yes.
applique the implants that he's offering. Um, let's stick on this for just a moment, Suzanne. What would you
Mm-hmm,
say to anyone that is? I mean, we know your choice. Your choice was to not do any reconstruction and not have
mm-hmm,
implants.
mm-hmm.
But what would you say to somebody that's having to face that today? I mean, is that their choice? Do you recommend your way, or what would you say today?
I honestly believe it is their choice, but I believe they need to do some research and look into it because it's not as easy as it sounds from what I've heard from other people. And maybe it depends on age too, how important it is to look full figured. I used to wear prostheses. Oh, do you want to hear this story? I don't know if you do.
Oh, I'm fine.
So they used to make Velcro tapes I could put on my body. Well, I didn't want to hang those heavy things off of them. So, because I could sew, I sewed Velcro strips on the really lightweight foam rubber boobs. that I could just go clunk, clunk,
Right.
and go off and when I was teaching, I could use them for pin cushions, which really shocked my students. And one student told me, she said, you know, my aunt used to do that. And she had a whole boob full of pins, and the doorbell rang, and it
Oh
was
my
the UPS man.
God.
And she forgot, she went to the door and he said, you are one tough lady.
Oh my
So
gosh. So this is a kind of a personal question about how do you manage that now? Do you wear any?
I don't wear anything.
Yeah.
I'm right now at age 83. Comfort is really important to me. I have gotten into scarves now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never wore scarves before,
Yeah.
but now a scarf, I mean, people look at the scarf, they don't look what could be underneath the scarf. Well, hopefully, but you know what? If that bothers people, that's their their problem,
Exactly.
not mine.
The last panel here now. Let's talk about
Well,
this.
that's, you know, it's disfigurement is not important. It's enjoying life that matters. And I have to tell you, there are some little musical notes there. Guess who suggested that I put the musical notes on? His name is Ricky Timms. Do you remember doing that?
I remember making this suggestion, and
Yes.
I know you didn't make those two little tulips down on my behalf either. But you know, the tulip is part of my logo, and with three
Is
little
it
points
really?
like that, so I always connect with this and the music note saying that life does go on. And Suzanne, your life has gone on now. I mean, for how many? I can't count the
Well,
years.
more than 30 years.
Yes, and 33 perhaps years. It's been
Yes.
a journey, and this quilt, it just takes on such a different meaning for me now that I've known you all these years. But also, like I said, my first reaction to the whimsy and all the fun kind of characters that you created was to laugh. I don't think it's laughable, but it is certainly um, a quilt that brings discussion and allows for thought, and it documents your journey. And now, what would you just say we're kind of going to wrap this up, but what would you have to say about your experience and advice to people in their own journeys and what they should do? Give us a little bit of a sermon here.
Well, I'm not quite sure what to say, except I think keeping a positive attitude is good. I'm very fortunate to have a husband who said, as we get older, we just look more and more alike. If you can catch on to that, that's good. But I think being positive and being busy with life. And frankly, when I got the diagnosis, do you know what I did? I quilted
Hmm.
because that gave me peace.
I can believe that.
Mhm.
And what about testing, getting checked?
Oh, well, mammograms are very important. And getting checked is very important because the sooner it's diagnosed, the more chance you have.
And the
So,
people that are fearful, it's like, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know.
well, and you know, that woman saw my quilt and got a mammogram. That makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
That she realized enjoying life and living life is better than worrying about disfigurement, or what she calls disfigurement. I don't even think of it as disfigurement.
All right. For those of you that don't know, Suzanne's quilts have won numerous awards: best of shows, first prizes at international shows, best hand workmanship awards. I mean, she's absolutely, truly one of the most amazing quilters. Suzanne, I think that if you are home, you are quilting every day. I can't
I
imagine
try to.
every
Of
day.
course,
And that's
I'm
been,
recovering from a broken kneecap.
right.
So, since I couldn't drive for a month, I have
But
more time to quilt. But I have to tell you, one of the most exciting things that happened to me when I was teaching in Australia, I had a woman in my class wearing an apron, and in the apron was a baby kangaroo.
oh,
She was being the mother to
oh,
that baby
oh.
kangaroo. Oh, that was so exciting.
So, see, the quilting has taken you all over the world. Your quilts have been exhibited. The thing that I want to say here, though, as amazing as your quilts are, I just want to say from my heart to yours, I think you're an even more amazing lady. You've been an
Ricky, I
inspiration.
love you. Thank you.
I love you too. You're an amazing person. I'm so blessed to know you, and I really, really know that you have made a difference in so many people's lives.
I
And
hope so.
we can only thank you for that. And thank you for taking time to share with us today your story, and we will trust that it will spin forward and help many other people going forward.
Well, I hope so, Ricky. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suzanne. God bless
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
What a wonderful story, and what an amazing quilt that Suzanne made all those years ago. And the message of the quilt is still timely and true today. I'm looking at the comments, and many of you are inspired by her story. Many of you are encouraging others to get their mammograms, and I want to stay on just long enough that you can add those kind of encouraging words to others, because comments are always read by people as they're scrolling. I would also urge you to get this link wherever you have it, either it's YouTube, Facebook, or otherwise, and that you share this a message with people, because as you all know, you never know what little thing that you might do that could ultimately save someone's life. And this is one of those times. So definitely take time to share this particular Facebook with those that you know and love. I don't have anything to add to Suzanne's story. She's a dear friend of mine. She's been truly my cheerleader from the beginning of my quilting experience, and still today, she's as bright and lively and inspirational as she's always been. You guys, thank you so much for taking time to watch. God bless you all, and stay safe, stay healthy, get your testing done, and keep your prayers for Alex, because she's definitely on the mend and doing well. She's looking forward to having her home later today. God bless you, everybody.